Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal's space program. Today, we're going to go ahead and launch some more probes into space. There'll be communication satellites. That way, we can, transmit science. We can have other probes do work for us out further to like the moon. We have Ratatoskar 2, which is what we worked on last time in our orbit, and you can see these little green lines are signal, where it has signal to. So, you can also kind of see the other orbits of the moon, for example, and actually Kerbin has two moons, and Minmus as well. So those are future goals, but for today, we're going to work on Ratatoskar 3, try to get over a polar orbit. So, Ratatoskar 2 didn't really have any problems with it. I had no issues. And frankly, it worked like a charm. So, I'm actually just going to have Ratatoskar 3 get launched into orbit. We don't need any extra batteries. We don't need any fuel cells or solar panels. Everything worked out great. So here we go. We'll do a night launch today. You can actually see the sun setting. But for Kerbal Space Program, I'm just going to talk while we launch here. For Kerbal Space Program, right? You once you find out what works, it almost always works. When it doesn't, it's usually user error, or every once in a while there's that kind of random. Well, you weren't paying attention to, how close or thick the atmosphere was of a certain planet, um, or you didn't spin the craft around to get its solar panels in the light. These are things that just happen sometimes. But for most of the part, when something works, it works. There's the rare chance that the game glitches. It happens, for sure. Don't get me wrong. But in this game's case, most of the time, everything works pretty good. Well, here we go, and we're in space now. Getting out of the atmosphere. We can kind of drop those away. Boost away from those. And we can set up our polar orbit. So normally, I like to get that kind of upward movement settled quickly, but sometimes there's nothing you can really do for it, especially when there's some, like, you have engines like that's just super excessive. I don't really need engines like that, all the time. So let's get out to a 275 orbit. Is kind of what we're looking for. 275, 245, 273. Okay, that's kind of what we're looking for. So, it's got a 36-second burn, 38-second burn. This is kind of similar to the other one, right? So, let's go ahead and get over there. We can 2,160 meters per second. We've got 2,500 meters per second. We've got plenty for our maneuver. So let's go ahead and get up there to T minus, if I can click on it. Sometimes there, yeah, here we go. Warp here. We're in space. We've got the moon, slightly different place now. So in game time, I'm like launching and taking 5 minutes to put these things in orbit, and then immediately launching again. So not a lot of time has passed in the game, which is fine. Let's see. Let's take a look. Yep. So we're charging our solar panels. We've got one facing the sun. It's really cool how the dynamic shadows kind of work. It's like, yep, this is realistically where the shadow from the sun would be if you were pointed this direction. And it's an older game for sure. It came out a long time ago. I think in like 2012 maybe. But it's one of my favorite games. It is so much fun just to mess around. So let's go ahead and get back into our orbital map mode. We're pointed in the right direction. We know where we're going. And here we go, beginning our burn. So see how our normal is changing because we were at the normal, and it's kind of shifting at like a right angle to where the orbit is. And so we've got another 20 seconds to go on the burn. And then once we get to the top, our apoapsis, we'll go ahead and normalize our periapsis. Close enough not to intersect the orbit of Ratatoskar 2, because that would be kind of funny. There we go. That's about close enough. It's 250, 276. There we go. So that'll get us to the other side of the planet, right? And so let's go ahead and add a maneuver to just speed up a little bit. All right, so we want to speed up, and we want to get this out to 270, 275, 276-ish. 272, 273, woo, 275, 276. You know, that's good enough for me. I'll take that. So while we're waiting for this, right, we want to make sure that our spacecraft has at least something pointed toward the sun, right? And here, interestingly enough, right, on this side of the orbit, it says we're pointing retrograde. Well, it's because we are, right? So we're orbiting for here, right? We're orbiting from south to north to south to north, right? We're going left to right. I'm sorry, right to left across the screen. So our spacecraft is pointed down, right? And that'll, as we accelerate down, it'll shrink this part of the orbit. And you know, there are engineering and science terms. I don't remember my astronautical engineering class. I really don't. I don't even know how I passed that class in college. But you know, it was really interesting to me, but I don't remember any of it. So I don't remember how the orbital mechanics works or what maneuvers, you know, you need to do to get to certain things. It's a lot of kind of magic to me. But I have an innate understanding, at least, and to kind of dumb it down, right? Right now, we're going to shrink the orbit because we're slowing down, right? We're always falling, right? We're falling toward the planet, but we're falling fast enough that we're just missing. We're missing the planet. It's kind of silly, but that's exactly the way it is. So we're going to continually fall across the planet, just continually, in this north-south, south-north orbit. But for now, we're going to go ahead and accelerate out to the poles, right? So let's go ahead up to the North Pole. I don't know what Kerbin Santa Claus looks like, if there is a Kerbin Santa Claus, but you can tell that there's a big ice cap up here. I wonder if science is different up here, or if it's going to be the same. So let's take a look. Yep. Vacuum. Okay, so there's nothing here anymore for us, I don't think. Let's check the goo one more time. Well, we can get a little bit. We can get 3.5 science, but we can't get any transmitted science. So we'd have to recover this probe. So we'll have to send a mission to the caps, right? And we can send a mission to the ice caps. Manned. That way we can actually get, you know, surface samples and things like that. So let's go ahead and warp over to this area. So a cool thing about a polar orbit, right, is you're going up and over the planet all the time. And depending on where that polar orbit is, right, you're always going to be facing the sun. Depending on what plane, right? If you're... Oops. So I gotta do this guy. Alright, it's good enough. Cool. And just like that, we've 275, 277. That's good enough for me. So now, right, we've got Ratatoskr 3 in orbit. So now, I think our next mission, right, we need more science. We need more science. So I think getting a mission out to the poles, a manned mission to the poles, I think will be great. So let's go ahead and send an Uller mission. He is the god of skiing, after all, right? Let's get Uller out to the poles. So we'll go ahead and head back to the tracking station. So the tracking station is cool because it just shows you where our connections are, right? And for the most part, these probes have connections to Earth's Kerbin side stations, right, in cities that, I mean, you can see where they're pointed at. They're not connected to each other, but at certain times of the orbit, they will connect with each other. So later on, once we get better antennas and better communications technology, I'm going to want a Ratatoskr kind of out in this plane, right, inside the moon, and then we're going to want one outside the moon. So that way we can talk to our probes as we go to different planetary bodies. And eventually we're going to want something that's kind of coming near Kerbin and goes to the inner solar system, and something that's near Kerbin and then goes to the outer solar system and that way we can talk to just everything and transmit science everywhere. But for now, let's go ahead and get this manned mission going. We have 59.5 science. I don't think we can really do anything with that, but let's take a look anyway. Get advanced rocketry. That'll give us bigger fuel tanks and smaller liquid engines. Fuel systems, yep. General, crew cabins, bigger decouplers. Those are fine. We don't need those. What I'm thinking is there a communications kind of sort of thing here? Specialized control, advanced exploration, advanced electronics. Yeah, having solar panels will be huge eventually. Advanced flight control. Yep, those advanced inline stabilizers are going to be important. Where are our better... unmanned tech. Nope, that's not what I want. Electronics. Here we go. The relay antenna. That's going to be very expensive. That's 300 plus the 160 here. That's 460. Oof. I don't think I just want to go straight there. That's not... maybe not the best here. Well, we can go with better rockets. Let's go with better rockets for now. Eventually will get us heavy rocketry and propulsion systems. Cool. So heavy rocketry will get us big liquid fuel engines, big solid booster engines, little spark liquid engines. These tiny little ones, more for like landings and stuff like that. Bigger fuel tanks over time. Yeah, so for now, let's go ahead and build our next Uller mission with Valentina. So I'm going to make sure that we have, different parachutes on here. We don't want to lose Valentina. It's difficult to hire astronauts. Astronaut training is not exactly the cheapest thing on the planet. Luckily for us, we don't have to worry about money, technically speaking. But we're going to worry about money. We don't need the stabilizer because we have a pilot. We don't need to decouple anything right now, but we will take a service bay. And of course a science junior, which honestly we might just take the science from here. We'll do our experiments on the launch pad that we haven't done yet, and then we'll reset the mission. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and build these. We gotta get these guys in here. There we go. Get these guys in here. Get our electronics. So we're not going to get any comms because we're relying on Valentina to get the craft back, right? That's what we want. We don't want Valentina to lose the craft. That would be a bad time. We're going to put solar panels on the outside here, just in case. Get some extra fuel. And we're going to get our heat shield, thermal. Big old heat shield. And then we can get a decoupler. Right? Get a decoupler. We'll get our fuel tanks, right? So we got bigger fuel tanks now. Very important. So our fuel tanks get us 1,800 meters per second in atmo, right? Because we saw that on the Ratatoskr missions, where it claimed 1,900 meters per second, and then when we got into space, it was up to like 2,300 meters per second. So that's just something to keep in mind, is that those numbers aren't necessarily entirely accurate for when you're in space, right? So we get the Thumper. Again, we like having all this excess thrust. Excess thrust is good. So why is this needs to be centered? So one of the problems with the snapping in this game is that sometimes everything's not totally centered, which can get really annoying at times. But that's okay. If you've got a problem with that, like I do, then it takes time to kind of work through it. But if you don't have problems with that, then it makes your life way easier because you just don't have to deal with it. I don't have anything for ground stuff. Don't need to decouple anything anymore. Cool. All right, so this mission's ready to go. So what we're going to do is get it on the pad. We'll do our research, take it off the pad, and then put it back on the pad and launch it. Okay, so we're on the pad now. Is there a crew report that we can take from here? No, we can't. That's fine. But we will do our material study of the Science Junior, which will get us 11 science. Hey, that's fine by me. I don't think we did either a temperature reading here. No, we did do a temperature reading here. That's fine. But we didn't do a barometric reading. Cool. So that's 5 science. So let's go ahead and go back to the tracking station. We'll recover the ship. We'll get the science, and then we'll launch it again. So Uller 5, go ahead and recover that. Yep. Get our 31 science. Total 31 science. We'll go back to the launch pad. So, you want to milk as much science out of these things as you can. This is a science-only game, so we don't have any contracts, right? We don't have to pay for anything. We're not doing a story mode. So science is the main drive of how we do things. So that's what we want. We need to get science. All right, we're back on the launch pad with good old Valentina Kerman. All right, Valentina, we're going to go to the great cold north. And then, you know what? Uller 6, we'll go to the South Pole. See what's different at the South Pole. And honestly, we don't even have anything for the Science Junior under acceleration. So that's something that we could be doing next time as well. But I want to see what we can do with the Science Junior in. Maybe we can do Valentina. We can get her into an orbit and then land her again. We'll see. This is something we need to, consider. And it just, here we go. It's getting pretty hot in there. You can actually see a little bit of a glow. At least I can. There we go. Here we go. We're just going to keep accelerating. And as we slow down, right, we're going to want to drop all that excess weight off. Okay. So this is, I'm going to have to do this quick, right? So we're going to add our maneuver. We're going to go this way. We're going to go this way. We're going to go this way. So we need 2,000, so we're not going to be able to do that. So let's just minimize. And we'll actually go up to about there. Okay. Let's go to our maneuver node. It's a long maneuver. So we're back in space. It's the nighttime, of course, so you can't see the sun or anything like that. This is a 1900 meter per second burn. We'll have just about 240 meters per second of burn left. So let's go ahead and get us to T-minus 1 minute. Yep, we'll warp. Anything to get us there just a little bit faster, Okay, so at T-minus 22 or so, we'll start our burn. And because Valentina is a pilot, we can hold this maneuver node without me having to do anything. It's automatic because Valentina is doing it for me. Sometimes it's not always user error. Sometimes it's just Kerbal error. Sometimes Kerbals aren't exactly the best at their jobs, but different astronauts, when you have to actually spend money, different astronauts cost different amounts of money, and that money cost, it just depends on how good they are. If they have less training, then they're not as good, but that means they're cheaper. That sort of thing. And so for Uller 6, I think I'm going to try to just construct a slightly more a fuel conservative rocket, because I'm wasting a lot of gas going just punching it up straight up. Okay, so here, right, we should have enough to get us to retrograde over the top of the ice cap. So we're going to warp there, right? Yay! Woo! Valentina! Yay! Woo! Here we are. So, whoa, 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 whoa. Here we go. Kind of starting to skim the atmosphere a little bit, right? We're going real fast. So it may not be totally advisable. Let's just burn for a few seconds, right? Slow us down. We got 62 meters per second left of burn here. So hopefully I can kind of use this. Use the engine to kind of help us burn and slow down. Okay. Alright, Valentina. This is what we have the engine for. Kind of burn us out on re-entry. Hopefully this slows us down enough, right? We're taking our time to re-enter the atmosphere. And then we'll use those drogue chutes to slow us down. So as we continue this burn, right, the engine's designed to get hot, so it's kind of helping us here, but you can see this, the heat meter kind of rising. Yep, it's going to overheat and it'll probably blow up, but we don't have any fuel left, so it's not going to do anything. Whoa. Well, there goes our science. Come on, come on. I don't want to be like a bullet. Come on. Activate. Activate. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, man, we're just a bullet. I'm trying real hard to kind of break us out of this. But maybe we'll have enough time. I don't know. Oh, come on. Come on. Slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Maybe we can at least save Valentina. Slow us down, come on. I don't know how to safely deploy the... Unsafe. Come on. Whoa. Probably broke Valentina's neck. Okay. So we lost our science junior. That's okay. Oh, goodness. Man, I was worried. Oh, boy. Well, we've got multiple science things that we can do while we're kind of floating down here. Yep, so we'll save that. That's probably our engine. Oops. Unlock that. Check the thermometer. Check our goo while we're floating down. Yeah, so that doesn't really help us. 0.6. I mean, it's better than nothing. Okay, so now I can kind of... These drogue chutes. I can kind of cut the parachutes here. Don't need these drogue chutes anymore. And honestly, I can probably cut 2 of these as well. So we'll cut this one and this one. So we'll fall a little bit faster. It'll get us to the ground there. We're still 1,100 meters up, so let's just take our time. This is over sea level. Let's change it over terrain. We're 600 meters up, so that's something important, right? So when you're doing landings, you never want to just assume that, oh yeah, you're 1,100 meters over what would be sea level, when in fact you're over a 3,000 meter mountain, and then you just kind of herk-a-dirk-a-dirk, and you slam into the ground. Cool. So we'll get some. I don't know if this counts as the ice cap. Looking at the map, I think we missed it, but we're darn close to the tundra at least. So, oof. I'm not entirely sure what exploded there. I have no idea, actually. Well, it's just from Kerbal's ice caps, so it does count. Okay, so we'll get some science readings here. Not a ton, because it's on Kerbal, right? We know, quote-unquote, about what's going on here. Science Junior would have been helpful, but we'll go ahead and go, oops, uh-oh, we can't go EVA. Oh no, we'll do a crew report. See if we can't, like, roll down the hill. There we go. So we rolled over so that way Valentina can get out of here. You can let go. You can climb out. Yeah, there we go. So, we'll go ahead and plant a flag. Uller 5 polar landing successful. And we'll take a surface sample too. You get a sample but feared to dig any deeper because of the startling crackling sounds the ice made. You trying to think back on how you landed here. Yeah, pretty aggressively. So, go ahead and get back on board. Come on. Get us on there. There we go. Get back on board, and we will recover you. Alright, so we got 50 science out of that. That's pretty good. But that'll do it for today's episode of Kerbal Space Program. Next time we'll get Uller 6 down to the southern ice cap, and we'll build a little bit more of a fine, fuel-efficient rocket. And we'll go from there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and please subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what challenges or goals you want me to work toward, and I will do my best. Thank you guys, and I'll see you all next time.